What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben Gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Today I want to talk about some of the PlayStation sales figures and Xbox sales figures that have come from the Wall Street Journal. So we're going to put those up on screen right now for you guys to have a look at. Now, as you can see here, you've got the original PlayStation 2 against the original Xbox, and obviously 155 million to 24.7 million there. That's a very clear thing because of the different probably time scales. PlayStation 3, very close competition between the two. This was the best generation of consoles in my opinion entirely. I really enjoyed this generation. The 360 was a great console. The PS3 was extremely overpriced at first, but it was a very good console over time. And then obviously PS4 just absolutely demolished the the Xbox One, sorry, due to the Xbox One had a terrible launch, and it got some decent launch titles actually, but just the fact that the system was overall a lot weaker, and certain games are running at 720p on the Xbox One and like 1080p and stuff on PS4. It just wasn't great. And then PlayStation 5, which where we're at now, of course, is obviously doubling the sales. PlayStation is over Xbox Series X and S, and this lead just gradually continues to grow. And to be honest, I think we are very much at a point where the PlayStation 5 is going to sell, the Series X and S is actually going to sell less units potentially by the end of the generation than the Xbox One. It's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens here, because to be honest with you, it's really not looking great, and I'm very disappointed because, as we talked about in the video the other day, it is incredibly good to have competition. Every one of these PlayStation fanboys who wants Xbox to die is an idiot, because your own console that you're a fan of is going to increase the price of the systems, and they're going to increase the price of the games. And that's kind of what we're probably seeing a little bit here with the PS5 Pro. They know that Xbox is not doing a mid-gen refresh. They've already done one. It's the Series X, right? The Series S is the base console, and the Series X is their kind of mid-gen refresh. So they've already done that in the end of the day, and they know that. So they're going to just price their PS5 Pro pretty high. I mean, I think for the hardware, what you're getting, it's very good. But at the end of the day, it is expensive, and it probably would have been more competitive if we had had a more powerful Xbox coming out around this timeline. So this is concerning. And I'm sad to see this because I actually love Series X. I think it's a phenomenal console, and I personally have advocated it, as you guys will know, on this channel in the past. I think features like Quick Resume is the best next-gen feature we've got from any of these consoles, and the fact that it's just not been adopted is very disappointing. But at the end of the day, is what people have built their libraries on. Phil Spencer said it himself, they lost the generation, the most important generation. That was the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation, because people were building up their digital libraries on a platform. And obviously, you're not just going to abandon that to jump ship and go to another console. So that's kind of part of the big problem between these platforms. But what I also want to talk about, and we'll head back to these sales figures perhaps in a second, is this PC sales falling, which I thought was very interesting, because we've been told so many times from a lot of fans that PC gaming is the one taking off and console gaming is dying, and they're not going to exist in the future. So I found that pretty interesting. The global consumer spending on interactive entertainment, so this isn't the PC sales, this is the purchasing of games on each platform. And as you can see, the arcade, which I don't know what this refers to, maybe I don't know what, let's ignore that. Console sales, very clear, red line. It's been increasing steadily over time, and as you can see, there was a peak here, but it is constantly increasing and has actually gone up massively recently. PC, the yellow, has actually dipped the other direction. It kind of always been trailing behind, caught up around this time, but it's actually dipped massively below the console, which is very interesting, especially, as I said, people have been saying that the console is not the platform to play on, that PC is going to be taken over. And also mobile, which is the biggest platform, as you can see, has actually taken a dip, which is interesting. I don't know what the reason for that would have been, but very interesting graph to actually look at. And I don't know what the reason with the PC sales would have been, because as much as it's PC guys are saying, you know, PC is the best place to play, there is actually a lot of people going to PC. So I'm kind of surprised that there's such a dip here compared to console. But I just personally think, as much as we see people in our hardcore audience, right, we see people on Twitter and X in our hardcore space saying that PC is the best place to play, I do not think that reciprocates in any way the general consumer basis. And I've talked about this in the past. People who want to start playing games or getting into gaming will not go out and spend thousands on a computer or 1,000 on a computer. They will go and buy a console, a Switch, for example, a Series S, a PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. That's the system they play. They want to go out and buy a console, buy a few games on that platform, things like Spider-Man, the big heavy hitters, the Marios, of course, the Call of Duties, the FIFAs and stuff like that. And those games now, like Call of Duty, hits 120 FPS on monitors and things like that. So you can actually get into gaming at a decent frame rate and stuff on these consoles really well, better than ever before. And that gap has kind of closed between console and PC in terms of certain higher FPS areas. Same with 60 FPS, which we're going to talk about in another video very soon. There are more 60 FPS games on console this generation than ever before. In fact, there are only 5 titles on the PlayStation 5 that do not support 60 FPS and have a 30 FPS mode. And pretty much all of those are not very well optimized titles, or they've gone for a design choice, like the story games, the Frank Stone one recently, and The Quarry. Those games are kind of like cinematic games, not really going to affect you running it at like 60 FPS or 120. So, but that is very interesting. But overall, this is the main point of the video. I am disappointed to see, in a way, that the Xbox is so far behind. I really thought that we were going to have a much better selling system, but again, I don't think Microsoft has helped themselves here by saying you don't need to go and buy a console. That is going to be a problem. Why are they saying things like that? And it's disappointing. This is obviously only looking at one thing, which is obviously the lifetime hardware sales, and isn't going to include stuff like the software and the Game Pass numbers compared to PlayStation Plus. This is purely hardware, but again, the less users you have on your system, the less people that are going to go and subscribe to your service. Whether Microsoft likes that or not, how many people are really going out and buying an Amazon Fire Stick and an Xbox controller and playing games that way? I would love to see those numbers, because I cannot imagine there are many people doing that at all. Like, I literally cannot imagine there are any people doing that at all. So it's disappointing to see, but it is the way it is. I hope things will change. I hope over the holiday season they do some really good deals on Series S and X, and that platform's going to boost up. We're still supposed to be getting another console from Xbox, so I hope that this maybe can change around next gen or something. Again, people are building their libraries, so I don't know. I think the rumors of like having Steam running on their next Xbox will be a big boost to their sales, because they may actually get some of the PC guys who have a desktop PC for their games, but maybe want another system that's not ridiculously expensive to have in the TV, so they can play games on a bigger screen or whatever, and they can just dive into their Steam libraries, carry on their saves from games that they're playing on their desktop PCs. I think that would be a pretty good thing to do. So anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about these numbers. Leave a like as well, subscribe if you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye bye for now.